Good evening. We're going to be doing a meditation, and we're going to do a little chanting before Jack comes out and speaks. But I'd like us to do the head and neck exercise. It just helps our eyes. It helps, the energy to flow through our whole body. So you just take your head down your chest 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go back as far as you can and back up the center 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to go to the right 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now to the left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now all the way around slowly to the right. Drop your head down and roll it all the way around. Slowly. Now to the left. 1, 2. Now, if you do that every day, you will improve your eyesight. We can hear these things, and then we do it a little bit, and then we stop. And we go to something else, and then we'll read something else, and then we'll go to that for a while. If you just stick to the head and neck exercise, that'll help. And then the eye exercise. You just want to lift your eyes up as high as you can, and then as far down as possible. 3 times we're going to do. That's 1. Now back up all the way as you can. 2. And then 3. Now you're going to go to the right 3 times and cross over to the left. 1, 2, 3. Now to the left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now diagonally, go to the right, way up to the far as you can go, and then diagonally as far as you can go. So 1, 2, 3. Now the opposite. 1, 2, 3. Now you're going to go up and all the way around. 1, 2, 3. Opposite. 1, 2, 3. And also, if you do that every day, your eyesight will certainly improve. You're getting energy and also help your brain. So all these exercises are, before you start your meditation, if you do that, it helps you bring into that peaceful state. And hoping you're all meditating, it changes your life. So the bookstore will be open after the service for refreshments and conversation and book, and the store is open. This is just a simple chant, and you'll repeat after I sing a line. I let things be as they are. I let things be as they are. see only with eyes of love. I let things be as they are. I see only with eyes of love. Creation's love is in and through all. Creation's love is in and through all. Creation's love is in and through all. Is in and through all. Creation's love is in and through all. Ooh, all. Ascended One is in and through all. Ascended One is in and through all. Ooh, all. Ascended One is in and through all. Ascended One is in and through all. Divine love, oh, 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 I let things be as they are. Divine love, oh, divine love, oh, divine love, oh, divine love, oh,
A merchant in search of fine pearls, upon finding one of inestimable value, sold everything he had to purchase it. The smallest parable in the Bible. A merchant in search of fine pearls, upon finding one of inestimable value, sold all he had to purchase it. Does a Bible writer like Matthew or Mark, Luke or John, are they involved in starting a religion? Starting a Christian religion? Did they have hopes of possibly collecting enough tithes, enough gifts from the general populace that they would live better or richer lives? No, it's not likely at all. Since the teachings of the master they were with, pointed to a more expanded wealth and did it with parables like the one about the merchant. A more expanded wealth. Who could be wealthier than someone who had no concerns about finances, knew that everything was going to be taken care of? Well, you see, this is the mystical side of the spiritual journey. Because it is mystical in essence. And we are on this path, which is a path of transition or transformation from the personal perception that we honor through physical life is transcended to the divine soul awareness that is living beyond physical parameters, limitations, fears, concerns, etc. So the master of all masters said of his disciples, they should be in the world, but not of the world. Of course, if you're in the world and of the world, then your concerns are about your physical life almost entirely. So that just about everything the mind is involved with is an attempt to improve one's physical lot in life. And there is the supposition that somewhere you might be able to amass enough money, enough popularity, enough prestige, that you will finally have true peace. You will not have to worry. But what's interesting about this is I've had the opportunity to rub shoulders with multimillionaires. I tell you honestly, they're not at peace. I mean, I rubbed shoulders when I worked on Madison Avenue as a copywriter with millionaires who, if they had decided that from this day forth they were going to just enjoy their money, they couldn't spend all their money unless they burned it, or they couldn't spend it all. They could just have whatever they wanted every day, fly to Paris for breakfast if they wanted to, and travel around the world, go on safaris, do whatever they wanted to do. That's how much money they had. But they had, the one especially had a desk full of pills for all kinds of ailments, stomach ailments, ulcers and things like that. That's not the test. The real test is when these masters, these devoted beings called disciples, wrote these scriptures, what was happening within them? They were beginning to touch upon that awareness, that field of divine consciousness that was so filled with joy and peace that they were there by the volition of their happiness, and nothing could move them away from that. And all they wanted to do was to share that. And we still think that happiness is still found out there. I must admit that the media that we live in our Western culture is very powerful in its attempts to influence us about the path to fulfillment and happiness. But I sometimes ask this question so that we can really get focused. Would it be possible to be happy, fully and completely happy, if you also did not have peace of mind? In other words, whatever you think your happiness might be, having the new house, the boat, the next great relationship or something, the sports car, I don't know, money that you wouldn't be able to spend in a lifetime. If you had those things, but did not have peace of mind, but had this constant underlying anxiety about life, worries about things that will happen to you, ailments, the decrepitude of aging, and then finally death in the body. And I suspect there's a little bit of that concern that you might die never having gained an understanding of the meaning of life. So that's what I hope most of you are doing here. You are seeking the pearl of great price, which is a mystical state of consciousness, which includes a peace that surpasses the understanding of the thinking of the world. It's beyond the understanding of the thinking of the world. Your relatives may have nothing to do with it. They may not understand it whatsoever. If you talk about it, they'll look at you like you're crazy. And so, what would it take for you to be involved in a journey toward mystical peace? If basically many of your friends and the people that you work for and your relatives really don't understand you when you talk about it, what would it take for you to be seriously on that journey? It would take faith. It would take faith. In our fast food society, fast living society, fast cars, fast this, fast that, we get to the place where we expect it should be instantaneous. Why can't I have this mystical peace instantaneously? Why can't it be proven to me? Why can't I just have some guru or avatar lay his hands on me and I would have it? Why can't that take place that way? Because for all of the years of your living, you have been conditioned in the illusion and the false definition of happiness and a false definition of life. Because it's natural for us to have that false definition in the beginning. We are born into a physical world. We have a physical body. We have to learn all the spatial stuff that goes with staying out of trouble with, moving cars and things like that. So we get a feeling that I'm this physical body life. And in that physical body life, we are developing a personality that is partially part of what our parents and our friends and our peers and our teachers are putting into us. And part of all of that is to do with what will make you happy. And of course, it's all of that conditioning that we grow up with and we try to fulfill. And we get to be an adult and we get that education and we believe if you get smart enough, you'll be able to control enough things in your life to find true happiness. If you only became smart enough, and then of course rich enough, popular enough. And then it all plays out somewhere along the way. You recognize, and the sooner you recognize that it's not the path, the better off you actually are. Because then you might find your way into Unity of Boulder, or you might find your way into some teacher or some book that has more expanded truth to share with you. That expanded truth is this. Look at how beautiful that tiny little parable is speaking about it. Finding this incredible pearl of inestimable value, the merchant realizes and sells everything. What does that mean? He sells everything to own it. It means we become detached from the things of the world that we once thought were truly valuable. We're on a path of non-attachment to the things of the world. We don't give them up entirely. We don't just get rid of them. We simply withdraw our keen attention that we have been giving to them. We withdraw that for spiritual practice, spiritual reading, spiritual meditation, so that we can feel our way out of the thinking we've been conditioned to believe in into the presence of our divine awareness, where we have the joy and that peace and the love we've always sought outside of ourselves. There it is, completely and fully, and we're capable of bestowing it in everything we do, wherever we are. We become an emissary of divine light, an emissary of peace. And that's what we're about doing here. It's easy to forget that, and of course, depending on where you are in your journey, in your process, you will forget now and again. But as you continue, when you come back to your process, and as you continue, something that is much greater than all of us is there to help us in our process. This is the universal divine presence. Call it the Holy Spirit. Call it whatever you wish. It's not really concerned with that. But something greater has somehow recognized our devotion. And then we feel this presence bringing about certain things in our awareness that we haven't fully contemplated doing. And it's part of this non-attachment. And we feel, as this is taking place, why was I ever attached to that whole thing? Why was I ever attached to getting that or doing that? It's so easy now that it's gone. What took it away? Not the volition of my ego that I'm going to be a spiritual giant, but because the devotion of my awareness, my heart, my openness to the ideal of being divine, not just in creation, which is what I am and everybody is, but divine in expression. And this starts to come through, and then it becomes a lot easier. There's no struggle with it, because now you are in the consciousness of the divine. Can you, honestly, if I will be giving a Bible class probably starting in the fall, and you will see that the entire teaching of Jesus is all about personal transformation. That entire teaching is there for us to use as stepping stones into the divine consciousness or the consciousness of God, so that we can live lives that are truly worth living, not confused, not fear-driven, not grasping, not broken, but open, flowing beings in this divine moment, recognizing the miracle, the miracle. Listen to this, because when I say it, you're going to realize that you haven't been doing this. If you're not enlightened already, and some of you are. But if you're not enlightened already, when I say this, you're going to realize, I hardly ever do this, and maybe I never do this. Recognize the miracle of just being alive. We take it so for granted. And we operate as though this is something I'm doing. I created myself. I created this incredible planet. I created the oceans and the marine life. I created the forests and the mountains and the trees and the stars and the rising beautiful sunshine. I created that. Yeah, I sure did. But here's the thing. The fact is, I didn't create it. It is a gift of life itself that we have because of our illusion-driven consciousness. Become isolated away from it. Not even recognizing it. The miracle of being alive. So, if you don't get anything else out of this talk, take this with you. Suppose you never had life. Sort of a state of dreamless sleep, nothingness, oblivion, nothing. No consciousness, no reflection, no light, no colors, no darkness, no mountains, no rivers, no nothing. Nothing. Dreamless sleep. And then for 5 minutes, you're alive at the age of 21 in this world, on this planet. Five minutes. Even if it was you awakened in New York City. With all of its crowds, it would be pretty hard to take, but you still, the miracle of it would be so in your awareness. The only thing you would want to do is to stay there and never leave it, because it would be so incredible. And then just imagine if you were on a mountaintop somewhere looking out over this incredible vista. A land of rivers and oceans and creatures so different from each other. And here's the thing you can't get away with, and the traditional Christians cannot take away from you. You can say to any one of them about the heaven they suppose they're going to go to beyond this planet. And you can say to them, well, okay, tell me, give me your insight as to the heaven you're going to go to. I don't know, you would say, what, you've got golden gates, or what is it? Beautiful clouds, maybe incredible, beautiful music, I don't know, what is it? Say it. But what you don't have in your heaven, and never think about it, I know you don't, not from a traditional standpoint, you don't have birds. And we've got birds. The most incredible, different types of birds beyond the imagination. They have to be the gift of God. So you tell any of your traditional friends who are praying for you because you're involved in some occult practice, give me the images of your heaven and just try to compare them to my birds. So we are on a journey toward a life of being present in the miracle of being alive. So totally present and conscious that we're not tossed to and fro by every changing tide of circumstances. So that we're slowly but surely withdrawing from the initial conditioning of what I like and what I dislike. So that I'm becoming more and more capable of being present with anything that appears in my now space. I'm capable of being present in that and from deep within blessing it. Not judging it, not fearing it, not trying to be in conflict with it or be better than it. Just listen to it. Here's the word that goes with us into the consciousness of God. Allowing. An emissary of light is a being who lives in the now, allowing whatever is to be the way it is. And in that state of consciousness, there is peace. The people around you will say, well, you just don't care about things then. You don't care about this and you don't care about that. But you see, if we could get enough people who only cared about bestowing peace, having peace and sharing peace, then everything in the world would be healed. Because all minds eventually are in communication. And when enough of us had peace as our goal, it would be reflected in everything in life. And there would be a kindness that goes with it, and a compassion, and an acceptance of the differences, the beautiful differences, because when you get right down to it, we're as different as the birds are different from each other. And what's wrong with that? Nothing. Do you realize that all the conflict we have on this planet is because we have things that we feel are so different from us, we can't allow them to be. They can't, no, not here, can't have it. But when peace and the divine presence of allowing the moment to be what it is prevails in anyone's consciousness, that one doesn't have to wait for the rest of the world to get to heaven. That one is already in heaven. That one is already an emissary of light. That one is already part of the healing of this planet, which is the gift of creation. This evening we will meditate together again. And meditation is simply a process of withdrawing our attention from the incessant thinking of the conditioned mind, the mind of the personality that was taught, badly taught, to seek outside yourself for happiness and peace, love, joy. Those things can only be there for those who are no longer prisoners of the world of attachments. So, you can have everything you want in the world when you finally give up wanting them. These Tibetan bowls are calibrated to the energy centers that are forever pulsating and giving us life. And since we are only energy, when those energy centers are vibrating in harmony, we have more energy, more life. And so this is why we use these Tibetan bowls, to have us relax into this energy. And then the second part of relaxing into the moment, the miracle of being alive, the second part of that is to be okay. Now, I said a lot of things tonight, and you may be thinking, well, I've got to get there. I don't know, I'm not there. I'm missing it completely, da-da-da-da. Forget that. Because you have been given permission to live and reflect upon your situation and conditions, and in every moment you cannot separate yourself from the love of God. No way. God doesn't even want you to hurry up. God just wants you to be okay with yourself. And to the degree that you can be okay with yourself, then practice in a gentle manner your spiritual practice as it guides you and leads you to this expanded where, this expansion where you are free from all the self-blame, self-guilt, self-doubt, self-limitation that has been conditioned into us by the illusion of being a separate, illusion-driven self in a world of phenomena that has no regard for us whatsoever. Give that up and be here, okay with yourself. So those things, if during this process of meditation tonight, you feel any kind of, anxiety or, some kind of shifting that you feel uncomfortable with, stop trying to meditate and just give yourself permission to be sitting here, doing nothing. It's okay to be just sitting here doing nothing. That is a meditation in itself. You could use that as an affirmation. I'm sitting here doing nothing. Not only that, you can take it a little further. And this is how the ego gets surrendered, the illusion gets surrendered. I'm here, sitting here, wasting time. The ego hates that thought. You're wasting time. Gee, you could be out there getting something done in the world. So if during this process of meditation, I'll share this affirmation with you. If you don't have a particular meditation technique, you can use this idea that will help you get here. Everything I look upon, everything I see is only God looking back at me. Everything I look upon, everything I see is only God looking back at me.
Tonight we're going to go through each bowl, which is connected to each chakra. I'll explain what it is and let that vibration of the bowl sound go in and through that area and let healing take place. Just let go and let God. There'll be an affirmation for each chakra. This is the first chakra, it's the root chakra. It's at the base of the spine. All my needs are already provided for. I am safe and I am loved. And when you hear these affirmations, you'll get an idea of what chakra you're really working on. So, all my needs are already provided for. I am safe and I am loved. This is the bowl for this second chakra, which is the lower abdomen. I accept my God-given ability to connect with others with warmth and sensitivity. The third chakra is the solar plexus, the navel area. I am filled with vitality, trust, and inner security because I am one with God, one with all life. The fourth chakra is the heart area. I am filled with love, kindness, compassion, hope, forgiveness, and peace of mind. Fifth chakra is the throat. I express kindness, truth, wisdom, loyalty, gentleness to everyone I meet. The sixth chakra is the third eye area. I am filled with an intuitive sense. I am confident in myself and connect to my beingness. The seventh chakra is the crown area. I am filled with wisdom and understanding.
in this refined level of awareness, we will offer the names of those that have been submitted to our prayer list. If you know the person whose name is called, just see them healed completely, physically, mentally, and spiritually. If you don't know the person whose name is called, just see the name in light.
Zim Newman, Donna Sparks, Dan James, Dave Ulrich, Bo and Chrissy Woods, Dan, Tate, Michael, Sarah, Lori Park, Laura Mezzles, S. Daniel, Pine Ridge Reservation, the air, the water, the earth, the United States government, John Stovall, Marcia Golden, Sheila Luna, Aaron Baker, Bertina and Rhea, Laura, Craig, Helen, Kathy Sullier, Gail, Rich Wiebo, Larry, Rick, Frazier family, Renee, Roxy Stovall, Patrick Hamley, Linda Holbrook, Jerry Swayze, Tim, Jack, Dave DeZuba, Larry, the Wounded Knee Reservation, Mary Oppett, Steve, Kate Beltrami, Vince Oliveri, Nico, David, Margot, Sandy. And if we've not called out a name, you can do so now.
D. Matthew S. Casey, Daniel,
We see this healing light surrounding the prayer box. And all the people whose names have been submitted, we see them healed, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Let us take a moment to recognize the earth and feel this divine energy restoring the earth to its pristine harmonies, its beauty and majesty, as we say our prayer of the living God. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. As we take our offerings in our hands, let's bless them with this offering statement. Divine love, blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive because I give. Together, please. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I give and all that I receive because I give.
And for God and all of God's creations. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. You can sing with me. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. I want to love you more. I want to love you more. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you.
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth and to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen.
Tomorrow is Sacred Feminine from 12 to 1:30, and we always have tea and a little bit of refreshments. And tomorrow it's going to be presentation. I'll be there, and we'll be doing drumming. We always start with drumming to bring the whole group into center. And we were going to have a presentation by Marcella on the Gospels that didn't make it into the Bible. So, and there, a lot of people here know of them, and so there's going to be a presentation on them. And we've always read about them, huh, Jack?
I've always taught the Gospel of Matthew. I taught the Gospel of Judas. I taught the Gospel. So yes, the Gnostic Gospels, very beautiful, giving a deeper understanding of...
Do you bring them into your Bible class?
All the time.